Sometimes a show is so good at one thing that every other little mistake or plot hole doesn't matter. Art can teach us deep things about the human condition. It can make us cry and even at times be life-changing. But sometimes shows are just entertaining. Welcome to a running series called Micro Deep Dives. My name is Pei, and today we're exploring Solo Leveling and the Rule of Cool. Solo Leveling is the most popular manhwa on my anime list. It's also the highest rated anime that's currently airing. It's a story that's presented with no tongue-in-cheek self-awareness, which is incredibly popular nowadays with things like One Punch Man, Konosuba, Eminence in Shadow, Kaguya-sama Love is War, and many other examples. This story is presented with absolute sincerity in a pursuit of telling a cool, fun story. One that's filled with tropes and cliches that works because the thing it's aiming to do, it does so well. And I think there's 3 things worth talking about today and explaining why that is. Its strong start, how beautiful it is, and the way it dances around hype. Because Solo Leveling is far from the first show to try to do something like this, and there's actually a great recent example of someone coming up incredibly short in comparison. Let's say you want to create a power fantasy with a dark-haired lead protagonist who's given a low rank in a magic system in a world where social status is determined by your power. Then, time after time of being put in terrible situations, they grow in strength until they become a godlike force in the world. There are probably more than just 2 shows that are examples of that, but Failure Frame and Solo Leveling have a remarkably similar start. And one show is so much stronger than the other, and I think you can see it right away. Solo Leveling and Failure Frame's starts aim for very similar goals, but Solo Leveling does 2 very important things that you need in a pilot. It both creates intrigue and is immediately satisfying. In the first 3 episodes of Solo Leveling, we are given a good reason why the protagonist is the main character. In classic anime form, an act of selflessness leads to him being bestowed some secret power. Instead of being a result of random happenstance, it's the byproduct of the main character's personality and decisions. But that entire situation was not only good for setting up the story, characters, and world, it led to immediate interesting questions. Failure Frame, in comparison, takes a random protagonist who's being bullied on a school bus and transfers him to another world, where he's immediately discarded and left for dead because of his low rank. The story happens to the main character, not because of him. Anime fans love this classic Sasuke archetype character, dark, moody, and mysterious. Failure Frame's character also throws in a revenge arc as the primary driving force for it all. And while Solo Leveling's characters are built off of very similar tropes, it works so much better. And the difference lies in execution. And the first of 2 components that make Solo Leveling so good is its beauty. Recently, manhwa has become more and more mainstream, and Solo Leveling was the first story that I saw be accepted by manga and anime fans so widely. It's all built around this webcomic continuous scrolling, where classic manga is built around page flips. And at the center of Solo Leveling's appeal is its beautiful artwork, a style built around continuous scrolling. In the same way Junji Ito in his horror manga used page flips to shock the audience, Solo Leveling took better advantage of the medium it was being presented, which is a fundamental part of how cool the series is. But it doesn't stop there, because it also enables the second and most important component of what makes Solo Leveling so interesting, its peak moments. Stories are so often determined by their peaks, and both the lead up and execution of Solo Leveling's journey is expertly navigated, especially in the beginning of the story. Because at its root, Solo Leveling understands its job to create a satisfying and entertaining piece of media with one intention: to be cool.